Anybody? Chris Wood here. Just on for a quick minute to do a live update. What has taken place with me? My full right side of my head, my face is completely and totally numb. It feels like it's filled up with some kind of fluid. I am getting serious burning in the back of my head and nothing but a fogginess or something over my eye. I have what is called remote neural monitoring being used on me. For the past 3.5 years, back in 2019, I was shot by the XOPP chief before he left Napanee. Chief or commander, he drove a white Jeep Wrangler, not by a bullet, but by something that went into my right ear. After that, I started having problems. I went to the hospital to find out what was going on. I got an appointment for CAT scan result to get CAT scans November of 2019, and I was medically blacklisted after that through Lennox and Addington Hospital, Dr. Tatiana V, aka Margie V. The lies, the time buying, the cover ups, the treatment refusals, being kicked from the hospital, just not being seen, even after being rushed to the hospital with ambulance, falsely arrested and charged to prevent anything legal on cops and doctors who are involved criminally in covering up and committing crimes, poor, homeless, elderly, disabled. They're guilty of human trafficking, human sex trade, slavery trafficking, using R&M on victims and completely and totally deforming them, mutilating them, torturing them, while labeling them as being suicidal self-harmers or drug addicts. That way, to be above suspicion of committing torture crimes and homicides, they use that narrative to be above suspicion to get away with the crimes that they are committing. Lennox and Addington, Ontario Provincial Police, Spencer Mills 14716, now allegedly in Aurelia. Staff Sergeants, years 2019 2021. Sodomy, sex assault, and kidnapping. Shannon Cork, Robert Kane, Robert Lucas, Stacy, mental health worker. Dr. Tatiana V, aka Margie V's girlfriend. Was Napanee Daily Tea Company, now Kingston, and Shelley Hafner or Huffner, who had me kidnapped May 27, 2021, 24 hours after me asking for help with what has taken place with me. Lies, time buying, cover ups, arrest refusals, false arrests, stalking. My mother stalked and murdered through Billy Wooldridge and Blair Hardy. Being surrounded, hands on guns, obstructions from the Justice of the Peace. Doing everything to prevent anything legal on police, doctors, and everybody else involved. Ones that they are using to commit crimes for drop charges, co committing slurs and drug traffickers. One known as Bill Wooldridge, 149 Center Street North, Napanee, now bald, glasses, sometimes a goatee, frequents the loaf and ale here in Napanee, and coffee cravings. Highly psychotic, highly delusional, believes that he is me, believes that we were switched at birth, but also thinks that he is Harry Potter. He is a heroin addict, a severely delusional burnout. I have video of OPP surrounding me, hands on guns to prevent anything on him. Shannon Cork laughing in my face over me, telling her to arrest him, telling me to file a report, knowing it would have done no good. It would have been burned up, tore up. I know this, she knows this, because it would have been against police and their boss, Billy Wooldridge, harbored inmate, dangerous offender, sex offender. How OPP are committing their crimes and getting away with it. These pieces of shit using R&M on victims, completely and totally splitting their skulls, their brains, turning brains into soup while preventing them help and proof, completely and totally deforming their victims, mentally fucking them up, to human traffic them, to frame them, to murder them. Billy Blair Hardy, the boyfriend, alleged boyfriend to Spencer Mills, 14716, drug trafficker, highly obsessed, psychotic, also involved with murdering my mother with Billy Wooldridge in 2020 through using R&M on her, given her cancer was with intent. He is highly psychotic. He's a rapist. He's a drug trafficker, drug lacer, guilty of multiple homicides. Jason Gimpy Two Step Van Alstyne, a serious crackhead, highly psychotic, guilty of attempted murder on me, guilty of being involved with the murder of my dog, guilty of other homicides here in Napanee. Tyler T. Bag Lake, guilty of murdering my dog, guilty of attempted murder on me and being involved with my identity theft, along with Jason Gimpy Two Step Van Alstyne. Dale Hartwick for drop charges, who is involved in using this. Tony Hearns, the Axl Rose of Napanee. There's another guy named Ray Ray. He lives behind Mamma Mia's Pizzeria here in Napanee. Has two white pit bulls. Him and his roommate Sam. They are using this on me, completely and totally numbing me down, injure my bodies, completely and totally fucking my lungs, my kidneys, and my full right brain. Using R&M on me because it enables for full broadcasting and surveillance 24/7. They use it to even sleep with me while they are getting free drugs, money, freedom, protection because they're working with and for the police, and this is how they are committing their crimes here in Napanee while refusing arrest, while treating their victims as the criminal, using badges, positions, credentials to be above suspicion in hopes to get away with it. This is why they're doing it to the poor, homeless, elderly, disabled, because they know once they cast their lies against their victims, there's no help for them, especially here in Napanee, legally, medically, or any other way. They're guilty of human rights, guilty of medical rights violations, guilty of treason, guilty of domestic terrorism. The doctors here are guilty of criminal negligence with criminal intent to commit, guilty of attempted homicides and cover-ups with and for the police. CEO Lennox and Addington Hospital Administration, Patient Relations, Dr. Tatiana V, aka Margie V, the name and file falsifier, medical blacklister, Dr. Joy Hadley, Dr. Barton, Dr. Waldron, Dr. Pritchard, Dr. McGregor, triage nurses Terry, Tanya, David, all Lennox and Addington County General Hospital, and all criminally and negligently involved in co-committing and covering up crimes with and for the police, with Billy Waldridge, with Blair Hardy, with Tyler Lake, with Ray Ray, and the rest of the pieces of shit garbage who are involved, mentally and completely and totally numbing their victims down to get away with the crimes that they are getting away with in hopes to mentally fuck them up to cause long-term memory losses as well, while preventing them help and proof. And this is how you're going about doing it and getting away with it right here in Napanee, and I will not be proven wrong. Bringing in other cops who are rookies who will take unquestionable orders through the ones involved, the higher ups, to aid them in their crimes, falsely arresting to get blood, pictures, prints, signatures, and everything else for forgeries, framings, and frauds against your victims involved in identity thefts, financial thefts, framings, using harboring escapee wanted inmates. I spoke police crimes, and this has been what's going on with me for the past 3.5 years. Total severe deforming, being totally and mentally numbed completely and not being able to do anything about it. going through complete identity theft and changes and proving it 100% while still being called a fucking liar from the hospital. I'm 50 years old and I'm going through this by two punks. One, Jason Van Alstyne and Tyler Lake. They're probably only 30, 35 years old, both of them. I'm 50. Blair Hardy, the obsessed closeted homosexual. He is also allegedly Bandito and motorcycle club leader too. And he's in his 60s, I believe. William Bill Waldridge, the one that frequents Loaf and Ale and lives at 149 Center Street North. He's in his 60s to 70s. So two younger, two older, plus Ray, child groomer. He's in his late 40s, early 50s, I believe. Hartwick is in his 50s. Tony Hearns is in his 50s, I believe. I am being used as a fucking game by the police and all of these other lowlifes who are doing this to me and getting away with it while knowing I cannot do anything about it to get help in any way. So they're sitting back while they're getting fucking free drugs and getting high and doing this to people to mentally fuck them up. I guarantee you I am not the only one. I guarantee it. There's been many others, and you've been successful with these crimes because they possibly have not been aware of R&M and how it is activated through cell phone, Wi-Fi, computer once it implanted in a person. Nano microchip implant designed for the central nervous system and also for invasive surveillance. Been in use and being used by the police illegally and criminally on victims to injure, torture, and murder Pontius Pilate style above suspicion. Can be activated through an operation box plus Wi-Fi, cell phone, and computer. It's been in use since the 1960s, and good job. A lot of people are not aware of it. This is how they are kidnapping victims completely and totally changing identities on victims, mentally manipulating victims to sex slavery traffic to control victims to get away with their crimes. Right, Spencer Mills. Right, ex-chief or commander. Right, staff sergeants. I was accused of being high and hallucinating of being sex assault by the justice of the peace because it was by the cops and boss Billy Waldridge. She is also criminally involved and she needs to be investigated and possibly charged for corruption, and she is guilty of obstructions for sure. So I spoke police crimes, and as a result this is being done to me. So be safe, everybody. Hit that like, share, subscribe, because it's very serious and very important. This needs to get out because people need to be arrested and charged. They are also using this because of invasive surveillance on children for sex, slavery, trafficking, and pedophilia purposes as well. And they might not even be aware of what is taking place with them by these pervert pieces of shit. So be warned, be safe, love all, hate none. Chris Wood, watch yourselves, watch your children. Have a good day, everyone. Napanee, Ontario, on Lennox and Addington, Ontario Provincial Police. The hospital criminally and negligently involved. Remember, check out my Facebook, Christ Woods, ChristWood.